This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good afternoon, my Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for June 19, 2023. And in the news this afternoon, government to assist the flood-affected farmers in South Manchester and St. Bess. With farmers in South Manchester and St. Elizabeth still reeling from damage to their crops from recent heavy rainfalls, Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, Floyd Green, has announced that a comprehensive program is to be outlined this week to assist them. Due to a trough across the island just over a week ago, sections of the country experienced increased rainfall from unstable weather conditions, resulting in flooding in some areas. In his remarks during a tour of affected farms in Duff House and the Spring Ground in Manchester last week, Green witnessed for himself the destruction of crops and the damage to infrastructure such as roads and irrigation systems. He said he will also be conducting similar visits to farms in South St. Elizabeth that were damaged by the recent rainfalls. The minister said the damage to farms in Manchester is estimated at more than $30 million because there was significant damage to crops such as scallion, tomatoes, and melons. What we have seen is tremendous damage to the farm road network that is in need of urgent attention, and a significant loss, especially in relation to scallion, watermelon, and a lot of infrastructure loss on the farms, Green stated. We also saw a lot of irrigation piping that has been completely destroyed. I know it will take a lot for the farmers to get back on their feet, he added. On that score, Green gave a commitment to the farmers in South Manchester to rebuild what they have lost, especially through the provision of drip hoses, pipes, and grass, among other things. So we have done some preliminary estimates, and then come next week, I think we'll be able to outline a program of support for our farmers, Green stated, adding that a technical team is to provide an estimate of the damage to farm roads. Meanwhile, Green said the recent weather conditions have highlighted the dangers posed by climate change for the country. The reality is that what we are seeing are short-term bursts of more intense showers, which are causing significant flooding, he declared. Given those realities, the minister underscored that the government remains firm in its commitment to building a more resilient and sustainable agricultural sector to better withstand such changing weather conditions locally. Businessman shot dead at a St. Anne's Bay home, firearms stolen. A businessman was gunned down and his licensed firearms stolen in St. Anne's Bay on Sunday morning. The deceased has been identified as 41-year-old Andrew Dawkins of Gully Road, St. Anne's Bay in the parish. Police report that Dawkins was in his community when he was pounced upon by unknown assailants who opened fire hitting him. His licensed 9mm Glock pistol was reportedly stolen in the process. The police were called to the scene and he was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. MID probing double murder involving music producer and a dressmaker. Investigators from the Major Investigation Division are probing Thursday's double murder involving a dressmaker and a music producer who were gunned down in their St. James community by unknown assailants. The deceased have been identified as 63-year-old Vernice Blackwood, otherwise called Miss Vern, a dressmaker of Bobman Hill, and a 28-year-old music producer Romaria Bromfield of Randon Hill, both in Lilliput, St. James. Reports are that about 6:10 p.m., residents heard explosions and summoned the police. Upon their arrival, the police found Blackwood and Bromfield suffering from gunshot wounds. They were taken to hospital where they were both pronounced dead. Bail hearing for accused drug smuggler falls through. Bertrand Hodges, a British national who allegedly conspired with others to smuggle cocaine out of Jamaica, was visibly fuming on Friday when the St. James Parish Court remanded him until July 21 after his anticipated bail hearing failed to start due to his lawyer's absence. Hodges, a 49-year-old resident of addresses in St. Anne and Birmingham, England, had previously had his bail hearing put off to Friday's date following his first court appearance on May 19. But when the matter was mentioned before presiding Judge Sasha Marie Ashley, it was disclosed that Hodges' attorney, Everell Webster, was not present for the court session and would not be likely to attend. "When was the last time you saw your lawyer?" Judge Ashley asked Hodges. "He was supposed to be here in court, but I have not seen him, and today is supposed to be the bail hearing," Hodges answered militantly. Meanwhile, the court was told that checks by the prosecution had indicated that Hodges' ties to Jamaica were not strong enough to warrant bail being considered for him, as he had reportedly left the country as a child. It was also disclosed that the prosecution's case file was ready in the event that the matter should proceed to trial. Hodges had been remanded to return to court on July 21. The allegations in Hodges' case are that he was arrested in St. Anne after investigators connected him to two other British nationals, Luke Bradley and Lauren Bartley, who were arrested on May 6 for attempting to smuggle cocaine onto a flight to Birmingham, England, at the Sanctuary International Airport in Montego Bay, St. James. Hodges was alleged to be a co-conspirator who sourced the cocaine and passed it on to carriers heading overseas. Bradley and Bartley, who each attempted to smuggle 11 pounds of cocaine onto the Birmingham flight, were both sentenced in the St. James Parish Court on May 19 after pleading guilty to possession of, dealing in, and attempting to export cocaine. They were each sentenced to 10 months in prison, and each was ordered to pay a total of $1.5 million. 8 persons were arrested during the month of May in relation to several separate cases of attempting to smuggle varying amounts of cocaine through the Sanctuary International Airport onto flights destined for England. Of the 8, 5 have to date been convicted and sentenced before the St. James Parish Court. Scammers are under pressure. Jamaica is expected to roll out soon measures to address the issue of scamming within the business processing outsourcing sector. The policy-making people are working. There are 2 or 3 security companies in Jamaica who are taking an initiative. It will be announced in about 3 to 6 months, said the president of the Global Services Association of Jamaica, Ananda Biradar. "It's a very targeted solution to the problem, so I am very enthused that the government and the private sector are actively looking to solve the issue." He was speaking with the news at the recently concluded Outsource 2 LAC Global Digital Services Summit, Jamaica 2023. Biradar, who in his presentation touted Jamaica as a good place to do business, was asked to reconcile that assessment within the context of the perception that fraudsters have infiltrated the lucrative BPO sector. Asked to weigh in on the issue, Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce Aubin Hill said he was unable to speak to the policies Biradar referenced, as the details would be discreet. While strides have been made over the years to improve the image of the BPO industry, the negative perception of some members of the public remains. In March, the news reported that a call center worker was dragged before the St. James Parish Court for allegedly stealing a customer's credit card information from the system and using it to make an illegal purchase. Biradar, who is also head of global delivery for the Americas at Sagility, acknowledged the public's general concerns. "Those concerns are everywhere. Obviously, it is a lot more obvious to us here in Jamaica, but we operate in multiple countries, and it is the same scenario. And it is not just emerging economies. Even developed economies have the same problem. As technology advances, there will always be opportunities for people to take the wrong path," he argued. Both men were participants at the conference held in Montego Bay last Wednesday and Thursday. The Inter-American Development Bank's Integration and the Trade Sector Created Summit was organized by the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce through Jamaica Promotions Corporation with strong support from Connect Americas. The event provided a platform for participants to exchange views on the latest trends in the global services sector and identify business opportunities for SMEs within Latin America and the Caribbean. Now in its 9th staging, this is the first time the O2 LAC is being held in an English-speaking country within Latin America. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.